Here we go. Da-na, da-da-na. Da-na, da-da-na. Da-na, da-da-na. Da-na, da-da-na. Hey, well, welcome everybody to the very first session of Creatively Indecisive. And I'm your host, Tim, and this is this is my first time. I'm going live. Doing this live because I want it to be as authentic as I could be with this show. So anyway, let's get to the first scene, and let me explain what this show is all about. And let's see. Let's go to right here. Already we have a. This is not what I expected it would be. Let's try this again. Okay, that's what we wanted. Already made our first mistake, and that's okay because this show is about making mistakes. So anyway, the show is called Creatively Indecisive, and that pretty much, well, welcome. Okay, and let's see. So, what is this show about? Um, it's about getting better, and basically basically all my life, I felt like I wasn't getting the career that I always wanted, and it always caused me anxiety, and and I never really got good at anything really well, um, and never really committed fully to. Well, I have all these stories in my head about why these things, actually been fairly successive, and I'm not a lonely person. I'm very outgoing. Uh, Probably why I'm doing a show like this. And so, anyway, so this show is going to be about getting better. I'm doing this show so that I can see my progress and also maybe, develop a community in which there's more of us who maybe you feel the same way. I don't know. I have lots of patterns of being indecisive, not being able to choose the career. I start one thing and then start another thing. Um, in fact, I wanted to do this show for probably about a year, and I just really had to just do it. And even today, even this week, I was going to start it Monday. It's Wednesday, and I was going to start it right in the morning. It's 11:30 now, so yeah, this is what happens. Um, so yeah. So the other thing is it's about not being perfect. As you can see, I not doing this on a whim. I did some preparations, but it's not going to be perfect, and that's why I'm doing a live show, so that I can be imperfect and more likely be more talking from the heart, and maybe that helps other people. But what I mainly would like it to do is help me, and I'm going to make a lot of mistakes, and I'm going to try to make this show more focused and more better production wise, because that's what I do. I'm actually, that's what I want to do, is that I always want it to be in production, and I've had limited success on that. So why not start my own show and mess it up? And a live show for all that matter. And again, um, this doesn't have to be related to, being in production. You could be, maybe you always wanted to be an accountant, maybe you always wanted to just be a teacher, whatever it is, and you just never got to it. It doesn't matter about the career, it's just about what, you know, just not doing what you always wanted to do, and what are the obstacles that got in the way. Um, so I invite everybody to join in on the conversation. Just a brief history on me. Like I said, I always enjoyed music and filmmaking. When I was a kid, I played the clarinet. Then eventually, I played the saxophone. I still do those things, and I bought a Super 8 camera and was filming the kids around the block. And I always wanted to do filmmaking. Then came the destructive time of the late teens and into the 20s. A lot of alcohol abuse, a lot of just a lot of bad mistakes. Ended up getting my girlfriend pregnant at age 28, and and that led to the trapped life. Me and her divorced, by the time I was age 30, and as a matter of fact, I got sober at that time. But I had a small kid that I had to take care of, and I went to college for finance. I didn't like it from the very beginning, and so I continued to do it. I needed the health care. It paid pretty well. It paid enough to pay my child support, to pay just to have a place to live, to eat. And at times it was really, really tough for me, especially in my early 30s. It was I was shopping from thrift stores for my clothing, and I didn't have a car for a long time. I just took the train, and I was pretty resentful at my ex-wife at that time, because I was paying out a lot of money, not getting a lot back, and it was really hard for a single father. It's hard for single fathers, I think. Taking care of kids, it's hard to get into relationships. It's you can't move around, you can't take a lot of risk, and so but during this time, I was finding myself, and I was trying out things. I took a class in acting, and I did a few community plays. I was still playing some music, and then video equipment was becoming cheaper, so I started taking classes at the community college. So all these things, I was actually finding myself, and I actually knew that this is I wanted to do production. I saw the David Letterman show. I went to New York and saw the David Letterman show, and I was so impressed by the production of that thing, more than the show itself. And I said, this is what I want to do. And but at this time, I'm in my late 30s, early 40s, and you know, telling myself that I'm too old to get into this, and which leads me to now, and which I'm in my mid 50s now, and I spent a lot of time trying to get this career going, and never getting there, or at least not feeling that I'm not getting there. So I don't know what that's all about. And I went from web design, I went from shooting videos, and doing production at a local access TV station. But maybe the whole thing of is I was never able to make that much money at all. And even teaching it, teaching After Effects, and teaching, and I will be teaching in the summer to some schools, Um, so um, the thing might not be that, the end goal might not be that I'm doing all this great stuff. It might just be some sort of acceptance that this is good enough. So I don't know what the end story on all this is, but this is the journey, and so which leads to the creation of the show. Like I said, reality does not really fit how I felt. Um, I have a pretty good life. I'm secure with money, and luckily I have a good wife who has a good job, and we have a great relationship, and we're not short of cash in any way, and so I'm able to pursue this. So the reality doesn't fit, how I feel, because I feel trapped by my own boundaries. Feeling that, again, I think the thing is that I'm too old to do these things. It's too hard to stop. I've got jobs doing web design and video, and I felt so insecure. There's so much insecurity. So again, this show is about, trying to get comfortable with myself. And don't know if this will do it, but I'm going to do a weekly show, and see what happens. And I also feel so disorganized, and I feel unable to catch up. One of the most recent things I did, I tried teaching at regular schools. It wasn't doing anything with video, and again, this is maybe part of my distraction thing. So for the last 3 or 4 months, I was teaching, and suddenly I wasn't able to do the creative stuff that I always like to do. So I recently just left that last week, and so instead of procrastinating, which is the last thing on my list here, I'm going to just go ahead and go for it. And, I'm going to take this time, start this show, and really kind of hash out some of these things. I do want to show how disorganized I am. So I'm just going to show a couple of pictures here, to show, because next week I'm going to show you that all this is cleaned up. So this is the room that you look to when you get in the house here. That's picture number 1. Okay, here is our bedroom. Look at it. It's a mess. Let's see. The bathroom, which I did clean up. If you could smell that bathroom from here, you'd understand how bad it is. And then this is the room that I'm actually in now, this is my computer room and the guest bedroom, and it's just a mess. So these are the things that I'd like to start to clean up. But for next week, I want to commit to having that clean up, because a clean house sometimes is a clean mind. And so that's one of my goals, which is, let's see, we're going on to the last, what to expect. And so anyway, I want to get better slowly, and that's why I'd like to do a once a week show and just see how things go. And I want to improve the show. I do production, and so I want to improve the show. I want the show to be good. It's not about how many views I get. It's about just making the show better, and forgetting about perfection too at the same time, and just trying to do my best. Just learning from each show. So this is learning, and I'll be updating my journey as I go along. And am I really going to be doing this once a week? Yes, I do want to do this once a week, no matter who watches. It's about me and my journey. If somebody else wants to come along, please do. And of course, I'm looking for your feedback. If you see the show and you relate to it, let me know what you think. Comment on your own. Tell me your own stories. because maybe future shows will be interviews with other viewers telling me how you got to where you are. And so, which leads me to next week. I'm going to update you on my journey. We're going to set some goals. I'm going to set some goals for myself. I'm going to give you a brief history of my work history. That's a weird sentence there. And then if there are any comments, I'll read them and we'll go about this. So, let's see if I can switch back to just me. And I'm going to look at the camera here. And yeah, so my name is Tim. And this is the very first show. If you like what you see and you relate to this, then please comment. And, and hopefully together we can be creatively decisive or just get better, slowly but surely. And thank you for listening. If you listened to this part the whole way to the show, then congratulations. Thank you.